don't even realize it anymore. You've seen it so many times, felt it, relied on it, that now you think it's a part of you, but it's not. It's a trap. Every time you open that screen, you're not chasing pleasure. You're escaping truth. Because truth is uncomfortable. It asks too much of you. It exposes how lonely you really are, how powerless you feel, how much of your life you're not actually living. So you numb it. You trade real human connection for pixels. You trade your masculine edge for momentary relief. You trade reality for a lie that feels safe. But here's the price no one talks about. Every time you escape into that false world, you lose a piece of your own, a part of your mind that once wanted more, now settles for less, a part of your soul that once craved meaning, now only craves the next hit. It's not about sex. It never was. It's about control. Because when you can't control your emotions, your life, your purpose, you try to control pleasure. But pleasure without depth is just another drug. And like all drugs, it feels good at first, until it starts to rot you from the inside. You think it's harmless. You're not hurting anyone. You're just alone, trying to feel something. But that screen is changing you. You start losing interest in real connection. Real women don't move like that. They don't act like that. They don't exist to please on demand. And suddenly, reality becomes boring. You sit across from someone who's warm, breathing, alive, and you feel nothing. No spark, no drive, no presence, because your mind is somewhere else, trained, wired, programmed. You think it's about sex, but it's deeper than that. It's about what you've lost, the ability to feel intimacy, the ability to build tension, the hunger to connect, not just consume. Your dopamine is burnt out. Your nervous system is overstimulated. Your body is stuck chasing ghosts. Perfect bodies, perfect scenes, perfect control. But none of it is real. And you know that. That's why, after it's over, you feel worse. Not better. Empty. Ashamed. Numb. Because deep down, you're not just addicted to porn. You're addicted to disconnecting from yourself. And every time you hit play, you're quietly telling your soul, you're not enough. Look at what it's done to you. You used to have hunger, not just for women, for life, for challenge, for something that made your blood rise. Now, you scroll, you wait, you click, you consume. There's no mission in you, no sharp edge, no inner fire, because the part of you that was built to hunt, build, protect, fight, has been hijacked, and you gave it away, willingly, for comfort. You traded the pain of growth for the pleasure of escape. You traded tension for instant reward. You traded your masculine essence for dopamine hits on demand. Carl Jung warned us, the man who avoids his shadow becomes owned by it. And porn, that's not pleasure. It's the shadow you never faced, the loneliness you never admitted, the fear you never processed. It's your unconscious screaming, I feel powerless, so I'll take power wherever I can find it. But that's not power. That's addiction. And here's the worst part. You don't even know what being a man feels like anymore, because you're not creating. You're not leading. You're not protecting. You're just escaping. And the more you escape, the more lost you become. You think you're in control. You say, I can stop whenever I want. But days pass, nights blur, and still you go back. Not because you want to, but because you've forgotten how to feel. Real life now feels slow, heavy, too much. So you return to the screen, because it's easy, predictable, safe. But deep down, you know something's wrong. You don't look people in the eyes anymore. You feel distant in your own skin. You avoid real intimacy. Not because you don't want it, but because you don't know how to handle it. You've lost the map of what it means to be in your body, to be with another soul, to be here, fully, painfully, beautifully alive. And Jung was right. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Even destroy themselves quietly. Even call it normal. Even defend the thing that's killing them. So ask yourself, are you living or just managing? Are you building a life or buffering one? Because a man who constantly escapes will never arrive anywhere worth going. You're not broken. You're disconnected. You haven't lost your strength. You've just buried it under years of numbing, escaping, performing. But it's still there, the part of you that remembers what it feels like to be alive, what it means to fight for something real. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stop lying to yourself. Every time you choose real pain over fake pleasure, you grow, you sharpen, you wake up. And that's where your power begins. Not in avoiding urges, but in understanding them. Not in denying darkness, but in owning it. You don't conquer addiction by pretending it's not there. You conquer it by looking it in the face and saying, I see what you're trying to numb, and I choose to feel it. Because pain, when felt consciously, becomes transformation. That's where you shift, from consumer to creator, from victim to warrior, from lost to awake. And the world needs more men like that. Not perfect, not polished, but present, honest, real. You don't rebuild your life by cutting out porn. You rebuild it by creating something stronger in its place. Discipline alone won't save you. You need direction, a mission, a purpose that burns hotter than your need to escape. Something worth waking up for. Something that forces you to confront your weakness instead of running from it. Because the only way to kill an addiction is to make it irrelevant. You were not designed to sit, click, scroll. You were made to struggle, build, bleed, create. So build something. A stronger body, a sharper mind, a meaningful craft, a connection that demands presence. Let pain become a signal, not a sentence. Let urges become a mirror, not a master. Let loneliness become a call to grow, not hide. And as you rise, you won't need to run anymore. You won't chase distraction because your life will be too full of substance. That's how you become dangerous again. Not to others, but to the part of you that wanted to stay asleep. You thought this was who you are. The craving, the secrecy, the numbness. But it's not. It's who you became to survive. Now, you get to choose, not just what you consume, but what you become. You can stay where it's safe, where everything is predictable, where your pain is hidden and your pleasure is hollow. Or you can walk into the fire of discomfort, of truth, of becoming. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone will come with you. Some will call you cold. Others will call you strange. But the man you become on the other side, he won't need validation because he'll know who he is. He earned it. That's the real journey. Not away from porn, but toward self-respect, toward wholeness, toward the version of you that doesn't need to escape anymore. He's been waiting. Behind every urge, every regret, every lie. And now, you're finally ready to meet him. You'll still feel the pull. You'll still hear the whispers. Just once more. Nobody has to know. Everyone does it. But this time, you'll hear something else too. The silence, the clarity, the part of you that finally says, no. Not because you're better than others, not because you're perfect, but because you're tired of dying quietly. You've seen what it costs. You've felt what it steals. You've tasted the difference between numbing and living. And now, even if you fall again, you'll know the truth. And truth changes everything. You'll move differently, speak with more weight, look people in the eye, and when you're alone, you'll feel peace, not shame, Because you're not hiding anymore. Not from pain, not from people, not from yourself. You are present. And being present is the most radical thing a man can be in a world built on escape. So be radical, be real, be here. You've already started. Keep going. They sold you a lie. They told you it's normal. They called it freedom. But it was a cage, and millions of men bought it, just like you, just like me, behind closed doors, in silent rooms, with empty eyes and exhausted hearts. This isn't your failure. It's a system, a trap built to keep you soft, distracted, disconnected. Because a man who is numb doesn't build, doesn't protect, doesn't fight. He scrolls, he clicks, he fades. But the truth? It didn't kill you. It woke you up. And now you see it. You see other men the same way. Behind their jokes, their shame, their hunger. They're tired too. They're not your enemies. They're not your competition. They are you. Before you remembered who you were. So don't just save yourself. Be the man who proves it's possible. Be the man who shows that strength isn't about dominance. It's about presence. We need you. Not perfect. Just awake. Just real. This was never about porn. It was never about lust, or desire, or shame. It was about pain. Unspoken, unfaced, unhealed. And you used porn, like most people use distractions, to avoid sitting with that pain. Because feeling it meant confronting the truth, that somewhere along the way, you stopped believing you were worthy of something real. Not just real pleasure, but real love, real purpose, real self-respect. But now, you've made a different choice. You didn't click away. You stayed. You faced it. You felt it. And in doing that, you became dangerous again to the system that profits from your weakness, to the voices that told you to shrink, to the part of you that believed you couldn't change, but most of all, to the lie that said this is just who you are. Because now you know better. You are not your urges. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are the man who decided to come home, to truth, to presence, to himself. And that man, he's rare, he's needed, and he's just getting started.